I want to read you a little bit of some of these students. When they were going from class to class, they told, this is sort of their, I guess, their talking points. We were led into the war because we were manipulated by the Bush administration into thinking that Saddam was at fault for the events that occurred on 9/11, which we know now is not true. On November 16th, we will have an organized walkout in protest of the war. We are doing this because we feel the reasons for the war are unclear. Too many people are dying. It's been going on for far too long. Families are being torn apart. As a result of this war, low-income minorities are being targeted for recruitment. Kind of a pretty important point at a place like Foster High School. And that we should address the issues at home rather than the issues in another country. We will not walk out just to skip school. There will be certain rules and guidelines. Now this is the students talking. So no walking down to Jack in Box instead. No horseplay like pushing people into roads. No starting fights. In general, just use common sense. Norms will be gone over in more detail on Friday. We will walk out of class at 9:15 and gather at the flagpole, and from there we will walk to the I-5 overpass to protest. So, at any rate, that's what they were telling students there.
My understanding is that the teacher who had been suspended has been reinstated, and he'll be back to teach for the rest of the semester for the rest of his contract. Yeah, that is good.
You know, basically what happened is, you know, the students responded to this national call for a walkout day, and they walked out, and then the administration, you know, thought that they really couldn't take on the students, and so they decided to take on the teachers instead. 6 teachers were, I guess, sent letters notifying them that they were under the subject of disciplinary investigations. Youth Against War and Racism and the organizers around that worked really hard, and they got out there and they delivered a whole bunch of flyers to the students. And those flyers, you know, the students were already very upset what was happening, but maybe they weren't quite sure what step to take next. And those flyers, you know, suggested that students come to a Tuesday Tukwila School Board meeting. And they did. They came in mass. I mean, this poor little building had never seen so many people inside, and the people inside were upset. And what they're upset at is that their teachers were being under threat of being fired, and that was just not acceptable. So, I don't know how many folks here know Mr. Menzel. He's one of the teachers who's under teacher. She's the husband of one of the teachers who's under disciplinary investigation. But Seth, I wonder if you could maybe just say a few things to the folks here.
Well, first off, thank you all for coming out here. It's really inspiring to see everyone get together like this and rally around the teachers. The idea that students would rally around teachers, there's usually an adversarial relationship there. The idea that students would rally around teachers is really inspiring, and I certainly hope that this will lead to none of you being having actions taken against you for walking out, and that's what this all leads up to. Is we need to make sure that not only are the teachers not disciplined for this, but that the students are not disciplined for expressing their views as well. But thank you all so much for coming. It's really great that you all got together like this and could come on such short notice.
Making sure that, you know, the administration knows and that the superintendent knows that you will not let them take your teachers from you. So I don't know, I think they only let a few people speak in there, but I wonder if maybe some of the other folks here who didn't get a chance to say something could maybe say something.
I'm a neighbor down the street here in a different district, but what these people are trying to do on this board is unconscionable, and I won't put up with it. And I'll be down here every time there's a meeting if that's what it takes.
I participated in the walkouts, one of the main organizers and stuff, and you know, it just seems ridiculous that they're suspending these teachers, and then now they're having one of the teachers on administrative leave. I mean, that's got to cost the school district a lot of money, especially if there's like, I don't know, does an investigation, like how much is that costing the schools to have like substitute teachers in there? I mean, that's just a complete waste. I don't think these teachers did anything wrong if they're telling their students about the walkout, participating, anything like that. If anything, they should be commended, and I think it's definitely an educational thing. Part of what I talked about, like at the walkout, I gave a little speech, and like I feel that when we went and made this statement, it was more important than sitting in our classrooms that day, because it's like we're not going to sit back in history and learn about like Vietnam or other like bloody imperialist wars that, you know, were all for profit, and you know, while we could be stopping one right now, and that's what these students did. That's what students up north did. That's what students in Olympia did. And that's what students in Boston did. And that's what students in Minneapolis did. And you know, it's not okay to punish people for that.
When our teacher was taken out, we were put in subs for the rest of this week and half of last week. We had nothing on the schedule. They took away our education from our teacher. We had a lesson plan. We were learning about Gandhi. We were taking notes on the Gandhi movie. We were going to learn about Gandhi's history, and they just took it away. And we don't have anything to learn throughout the rest of the week. And so students are having to come up and try to learn what they can learn about today and past history. So, yeah.
Went through the interview this afternoon with Brett Rogers as his attorney, and I will tell you all of the questions were about his political speech, what politics he was teaching in class, and trying to get him to name names. It was strikingly familiar. Folks who had the benefit of actually having teachers who were allowed in to teach names are. It sounds exactly like the McCarthy period. It sounds like every period in this country's history where people are saying things that they don't like. They want to know who organized it. They can't believe that a group of students were actually capable of thinking and organizing a demonstration and acting out of conscience themselves, even though they keep saying that's what they're trying to teach. So it's got to be somebody's fault, and they're scapegoating teachers. They're scapegoating one teacher who walked out of conscience on his own. If he had spent the same 45 minutes going to the repair shop to see if his car was done, we wouldn't be here dealing with this. It's because of the specifics of where he was and what he was saying. I have also been informed by Brett that they are allowing him to return to the classroom as of tomorrow morning. The investigation is still continuing. They're still going to do this. They're going to do more interviews of more teachers who are being threatened next week, trying to get them to name names, trying to accuse them of misconduct for actually talking to students about issues and trying to get students to formulate their own opinions and think. So this is going to go on for a while. You all need to be vigilant. You need to keep up on what's happening as much as you can, and you need to keep asking questions, and you need to keep speaking truth to power. What you did was incredible last week. It was an enormously powerful thing against an unjust war. You all should be really proud of what you did. And you're right, the district should be celebrating you for acting out of conscience and doing something that you didn't have to do because you believed it was right, and not trying to punish you for it.
So, one thing maybe to let you know, there was over 1,000 students around the Puget Sound that walked out on November 16th. Do you guys know that? Yeah. And do you know where the most students walked out of? Here. It was the biggest walkout in the Puget Sound, right here at Foster High. And who did it?